Welcome to this incredible free workshop, How to Lose Weight Without Dieting and Finally Make Peace with Food so you can experience the lasting weight loss that you've been wanting for so long. No more feeling crazy, no more obsessing, no more sabotaging, and no more diets. How to lose weight without dieting and keep it off. That is what we are talking about today. In this free 3-part training series, we're going to go through a variety of tools and tips that you need to truly be done with dieting, to lose this weight, and to keep it off without feeling crazy around food. Today in video 1, I'm going to show you how to lose weight without dieting and keep it off. Yep, that's right. So imagine never dieting again and wearing anything you want and always looking good. No more feeling consumed by food or calorie counting or being frustrated by the number on the scale. Whether you've been struggling with your weight your whole life, have 5 pounds to lose or 60+ pounds to lose, this is the place to be to not only lose the weight without dieting, but to keep it off effortlessly. What if weight loss could be easy? What if it was actually never meant to be hard? You've just been going about it the wrong way. And it's not your fault. I blame the dieting industry. You're not set up for success, you're set up for failure. And you can't sustain a result that's built on deprivation and restriction. You will inevitably rebel. I'm going to share with you a secret weapon that once you know about will be a game changer for you and will help you lose weight and even more than that in life. Sounds good, right? Okay, so let's get started. How do you lose weight without dieting? Well, you have to follow steps from someone that's been there, that's done it. That's why I'm here. So let me help you make sense of the crazy that you feel in your mind because, girl, you know it gets crazy up there. So first, I want you to commit right now to doing this training and to taking it seriously. If you really want to lose weight and be done with dieting, then these invaluable steps are going to help to take you there. So right now, take your journal, take out a pen, and let's get started. I want you to write down and identify what you're feeling right now. When I just said for you to get committed, take a moment and what does that mean for you? Right? Because oftentimes, and I know this in particular, I would sign up for things and I get there and I'd be like, oh, I just did that training, but I didn't really do it. I didn't do the steps. And I'm gonna call you out. I want you to do the steps. So take your pen and paper and let's really do this. Why are you here? Before we can really embark on anything, we have to be clear on what our why really is. What is it that you really want? Now here's the trick. With identifying your why, I want you to be selfish. Your why needs to be juicy. It can't just be, I want to lose weight, or I want to feel better, or I just want some energy. Wanting to feel better, wanting to lose weight, and wanting energy is not going to get your cute little butt out of bed in the morning, right? So we need it to be juicy, right? Wear anything in your closet. You want to feel good naked. You want better sex. You have an event that's coming up. Right? The goal of this workshop is to show you the critical things you need to know to achieve lasting weight loss so you truly never diet again. That is my commitment to you. But I need you to show up like I'm showing up for you right now. When you really adopt these principles, then you can lose weight easily and keep it off without dieting, without feeling deprived, and without being consumed by food controlling you. And if that sounds too good to be true, notice those voices in your head that are sitting there going, this is never going to work, or I've done this a million times, or I know what my why is. That's not really going to help me. I just need a diet. I need a quick fix. I just need to know what to do. You know what to do. You know what to do and you're not doing it, and there is a reason, and it's deeper than you needing to just get on a diet. You've been on enough of them. It's time for us to really get around and off of the crazy train, which is the definition of insanity. Doing the same thing over and over and over again, expecting a different result. That is what dieting is. So are you ready to trust me and to do this a different way? I so hope that you are. Like I've shared, I used to be like you. I always was on a diet. I tried everything. I would spend hours researching, ordering the weirdest things from infomercials to crazy diet pills to cleanses. You have no idea. I think my body was super confused. I didn't know how powerful our emotions are, or that we have strong emotional ties to food, and that this was my primary coping mechanism for dealing with life. I thought I was just like every other girl that would have weekend binges and start her diet over on Monday. When I first started learning about the psychology of why we eat and it's tied to our emotions, it was a huge light bulb moment. I was an emotional eater in every sense of the word. Food had taken on human form for me. No wonder I couldn't let go of dieting. No wonder I couldn't let go of food. It was my best friend, my boyfriend, my confidant. It was always there for me with no questions. So why and how would my mind let me give up something that was so pivotal in my life? Then I had to make the conscious choice to choose me. That love for me meant more to me than food. You would think that this would be easy. Not so much. I refer to this period of my life as me divorcing food. We even cheated and got back together for a little bit, for another good beat down on my self-esteem, as if years of dieting and self-berating wasn't enough. This is how I birthed the MK method, a proven formula that I teach that's in my programs to help women be free from food to truly lose weight without dieting. So let's dig in. There's a few key points that you need to know in order to really be done with dieting. And they're pivotal, and they're going to be everything from mindset to actual action steps. But it's all, again, in line with my holistic approach. So step one, I need you to put the scale away. Yes, I need you to put the scale away. We need to stop monitoring your self-worth and your happiness by a number on the scale, because a number on the scale does not reflect your self-worth or who you are as a beautiful female in this world. I really need you to take that in. Also, just statistically, a woman will fluctuate 3 to 7 pounds on a given day. That will make you go insane, especially, and this is the most pivotal piece to what I'm saying. I have women in my programs, and then one of the first things that we do in our Weight Loss for Life program is I say, put the scales away. And many of the women have been on the scale for most of their lives. So this is a big deal. Well, they start to put the scale away and they go, oh my God, Melissa, this was huge. I put the scale away. I'm feeling so good. I'm getting compliments. My clothes are bigger. And then they pull that scale out, even though I've told them not to, but it's okay. So they get back on the scale and it doesn't reflect the weight loss that they think they should have at that point. Well, what does this do? This causes them to binge and to go into old patterns and habits that really stem from self-sabotage. Because at that point in the program, we haven't really retrained your brain and gotten you into a new identity within yourself, right? When we've been thinking one way for most of our lives, as much as we want it to be a magic pill and you want to have this, this lobotomy, it takes time to retrain your brain. So what happens though with the scale is, again, it's like slapping yourself across the face each day, right? It's like having a closet full of clothes where you're going, oh, well, once you lose weight, then you can start to wear those. And then you go and put on something that makes you feel awful in your body and you don't even want to be seen. So we want to reverse those actions. So put the scale away. Focus on how you feel in your body. Focus on the way that your clothes fit. Focus on your energy and going to bed feeling proud and making choices that serve you, right? A big thing that I talked about was that a pivotal key piece for me was recognizing that loving me was choosing me. And I was really choosing food and my relationship with food over choosing myself. And as I explained before, I thought that would be an easy thing to break. You would think, why wouldn't I love me? Why wouldn't I do those things? Well, when food's such an important piece in your life and it's filling all of those gaps that we talked about earlier, it's hard to take it out. But one of the first ways to take it out is by getting rid of the scale. And by getting rid of the scale, we start to connect back to ourselves and we do something loving for ourselves. And we start to really monitor the way that we feel in our bodies, regardless of what some apparatus says, right? So we measure our happiness and our love for ourselves by the way that we feel. So as I was saying with the scale, girl, put it away. And let's just focus on just a quick recap. Feeling good in your body, measuring your energy, making choices that make you feel proud, notice the way your clothes fit, and things that other people say. and do not get on a scale for at least 90 days. Okay, step 2 to this process. We want to identify your trigger foods. So when we were talking about emotions and our emotional attachments to food, and get this too, so you might be sitting there going, well, I'm not an emotional eater. Well, we're all emotional eaters because when we were in the womb, we were being fed food by someone that loves us. That was our first introduction to food, right? And then when we came out of the womb, we were given a sweet substance, either breast milk or formula, again by somebody that loves us. So we started to learn and associate love and food, right? So in our lives, we end up having specific trigger foods that really tie back to memories or specific people. So I want you to think right now, I want you to get your journal and a pen, and I want you to think about, what are those trigger foods? What are those foods that you cannot have around because you know if you do, you're going to go overboard? Maybe it's a jar of nut butter, or for me, it was mint chocolate chip ice cream. I used to have to eat it, and then I'd put it in the sink and have to run water under it. One of my brothers was like, seriously, you're crazy. And I was like, I can't have it around. But I legitimately felt like if it was there, I would eat an entire gallon, and I would have. So in identifying your trigger foods, you want to really think about trigger foods are the foods that when you want to procrastinate, when you're stressed out, when you're sitting there after an exhausting week and you sit there and tell yourself you deserve this, when you're lonely, when you're bored, even when you're celebrating, what are those foods that you want that you know if they were in front of you, you would not be able to control yourself around? Now, step 2 of this is I want you to think about what's behind some of those foods. Do they have specific memories? You know, as I mentioned, mint chocolate chip ice cream in my family was when we would sit around and we would have family movie night growing up. And that was something that we did. And it just reminds me of a time when I felt happy and secure and loved. And it was so much fun. So there's that tie. In understanding our emotional connections and what those foods are, we can actually help ourselves to desensitize our emotional attachment to them, because there's something that we're always wanting to feel. In that example, I just told you that I wanted to feel secure, loved, comforted. Well, that's a trigger for me to know that when I'm wanting that ice cream, I can ask myself, where am I not feeling secure? Where am I not feeling comforted? Where am I not feeling loved? And how can I give myself that in that moment? Do you see how that works? So it's really, really a powerful tool for you to understand why you have these foods that you feel have that hypnotic pull over you, where your body goes on autopilot and where you feel completely out of control when they're around. So step 4 in this, I want you to get a journal. And this week, I really want you to pay attention and be cognizant of the foods that you really want. What is it that your mind's telling you you want versus your body, right? And you'll know this because when you just open up that refrigerator door and you're standing there going, I know I'm hungry, but I just don't know what for, you're not really hungry. When we're really hungry, you're like, just give me something. And we're usually craving a protein, a vegetable, or a starch. We're needing something to give ourselves substance and energy, right? So I want you to think about what those foods are. I also want you to really track when and how often you eat, and how often you eat when you're not hungry. This was an amazing exercise that we did in our Weight Loss for Life program, and it was incredible the feedback that I got. Many of the women said, we actually did a food freedom challenge in there, and it was so telling, and the women came back and said, I really am not nearly as hungry as often as I was eating. I'm eating 3 square meals a day, or I'm eating 3 meals and snacks because I thought that's what my body wanted due to my, my workouts, or what I read somewhere that I should always have these mini meals. Everybody had different reasons for why they were eating the way that they were eating, right? And this we do at the start of the program. Well, in this food freedom challenge that we ran, they really got clear on how often they were eating when they weren't hungry. And it was incredible too for the women to notice not only how often they were eating when they weren't hungry, but when they actually sat there. And I said, a part of the challenge was this: you could only eat 3 square meals a day, and you had to eat sitting down, no snacks in between, and really, really monitor your emotions around this. And many of the women came back saying, I didn't even need the 3 square meals or all of the food that was on my plate, but I wanted it. and I missed the extra food. So there was a full feeling of loss that they were experiencing. It's an incredible exercise, and I would love, now we were there in the program to support them through it, myself and our coaches in Weight Loss for Life. And that guidance and support is so necessary, but it's an amazing exercise that I'd really want to encourage you to try to do. So in doing that, it's eat 3 square meals, no snacks in between, and journal the entire time, and you're eating undistracted, and recognize when you're full and how much more you want to eat beyond your fullness meter, and noticing with yourself, wow, it's after 8 o'clock, I'm really wanting food right now, and I'm not the least bit hungry, right? You start to experience a loss, and that's when those emotions come in. We call it that witching hour. And it's 4 o'clock and then it's after 8, where all of those emotions come in, and we have a hard time being alone with ourselves to really think and not be preoccupied by food. Okay, so now here is step 5. In order to really be done with dieting, one of the main pieces that needs to happen, girl, you gotta get back connected to your body, right? When we say yes to a diet, the very first time we say yes to a diet, we disconnect from ourselves, from trusting ourselves and trusting that our bodies are going to tell us what it needs to lose weight, or when it's hungry and when it's not. And what happens is we start dieting, we stop trusting ourselves, and we start listening to somebody else and what they said that we need. That's not the way to do this, right? So even as a weight loss expert, I'm the first person to tell my clients, you know what your body's telling you. And I work with them to regain that connection, to trust themselves. Because at the end of the day, that partnership with you is the key that you need, and it's the missing piece to the lasting weight loss that you've been wanting for so long. I want to get you out of the struggle and into the joy of finally feeling free and being in a body that you are just like, I want to be seen, I want to show off, and I want to wear something that's sexy and tight and all the things juicy for me. So when it comes to connection, there's something that I teach my clients, and I really want to impart it on you. It's a simple exercise. Any of my programs and everything about me is mind, body, soul, spirit connected. Breath is the most powerful thing that we have, and we have access to it at any time, and it's free, okay? So when you're feeling, and you'll notice this, and start to pay attention to this throughout this week, when you're stressed or when you're starting to feel like anxious or other things are going on, notice how short your breath is. Notice that you're probably not even breathing. Well, much like drinking water, the more we breathe, the less hungry we are, right? Because we're actually giving our bodies something that is really needing. We're regulating our hormones naturally. We're regulating our stress, and we're giving ourselves the temporary space that we need to collect ourselves and our thoughts to connect back in, to really know what it is that we're wanting in that moment. Pretty great, right? So let's just go through this process. Generally, I have my clients close their eyes, and I'm just gonna have you breathe in through your nose, and you're gonna take a nice, big, deep inhale in through your nose, filling up your belly and your lungs. And you're gonna hold that, and you're gonna breathe in for 5. So 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold it for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale out the nose for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. In doing that, you're going to calm your central nervous system, and you're really going to cause yourself to really get back into the body so that you can ask yourself what you're needing in that moment. And when you're doing that, I really encourage my clients to take that breath and do the 5 in, hold for 5, out for 5, anywhere from 5 to 10 times to really bring yourself back to that powerful space of presence and connection needed to help support you in this process. So now we want to move on to step 6. So you've got your breath work, and a great thing if we want to do we'll call this a bonus add-on. One thing that's really, really powerful is the art of visualization. I will tell my clients, if there's one thing that you can do, because I have women write me all the time, I have injuries or I'm not able to work out, you know, what guidance can you give me? And yes, obviously what we put into our bodies matter, right? How we eat is 90% of it, but also mindset is huge. So one of the things that's really, really powerful is the mind doesn't know the difference between reality and fiction, has no idea. So when you feed it whatever you want it to be, that is the reality that you'll experience, and it will start to align. So let me put this into simple terms. If you visualize yourself at your ideal weight and start to feel happy seeing yourself there, seeing vignettes of yourself wearing whatever you want, being out, endless energy, feeling at peace with food, and just getting smaller and smaller and smaller, and seeing yourself on the scale at your ideal weight at the end of the program. So once you start seeing that, what happens is, one, you're sending yourself those messages. Again, your mind doesn't know the difference between a dream and reality. So it's going, oh, she lost weight. Oh, okay. She's so happy now. She feels so good. So what's happening is we're actually sending receptors to your brain that are saying, I'm not as hungry. I now eat in alignment of somebody that's really happy, that's joyous, that feels light in her body, right? When we eat otherwise, did you notice when you feel crappy, you want to eat more? You actually, when you don't feel good in your body, you want to do all the things that actually cause you to gain weight, right? So just imagine when you feel good, how many times have you been happy and you notice that you just lost weight naturally? Ding, 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 right? So what I want to encourage you to do is you can pair that breath work exercise that I gave you and use that to bring you to a space of meditation and visualization. And one of the things that I love to do is really taking my clients on a journey. And what I would want to encourage you is close your eyes for a minute, and I'm just going to do this short exercise with you. So we'll go back to our breath work of breathing in through our nose for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Holding it for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and exhaling out for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now on this next inhale, I want you to imagine white light coming into your body and filling up your body with all things love and light. And you're going to bring that in and hold that for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And on this exhale, you're exhaling out everything that doesn't serve you. Every fear, every doubt, any darkness, anything that's not in alignment with who you truly are and how you want to feel. And again, you're going to inhale in that white light. And this time when you hold it, I want you to imagine yourself at your ideal weight, in your ideal body. And I want you to see yourself there. And if you don't see anything, that's fine. We all have different ways in which we experience. And so you might hear things, see a light, or feel something. Whatever that is, we just want it to be in the feel-good space. And then we exhale out any fears, any doubts, any resistance that comes up. And you take yourself through this process, and you can sit in this as much as you want. But I encourage you to really do this for 7 days and see how you feel and see how your actions shift, because you will be in alignment with that weight loss, that ideal body, and that version of yourself. And our entire goal here is bringing out the best version of you. And that is our final step in this process, but we're not done. All right, girl, you want to make sure to join me for our second training video, where I'm going to show you how to end self-sabotage and make peace with food. I'm also going to show you how to stay committed and consistent so you can see your results and keep them. This is really important because right now, just hear me on this, your mind only knows what you've taught it, which is to diet, i.e. lose weight to gain it back again, right? Until the pain gets so bad that then you get enough motivation to try another diet, in which you do your fad diet research, keto, paleo, intermittent fasting, and begin the vicious cycle of dieting all over again, right? The dieting insanity continues. It's brutal. But the best news is we can change it, and it starts here today. Right now, I want to know a little bit more about you. What would never having to diet again and being at your ideal weight without struggling feel like for you? To not feel crazy around food, no more calorie counting, truly eating only when you're hungry. Does this sound exciting? Does this scare you? What would achieving your weight loss goals mean for you? Please scroll down below this video and tell me in the comments section. I would truly love to know. And of course, if you liked this video and found it useful, I would love it if you would click the like button and share it with your friends. I can't wait to see you in the next video.